Dad, unfortunate news in the new car market. New vehicle affordability has hit an all-time record for being the worst, not the best. It now takes, on average, Dad, for the average consumer to buy the average new car, 42.2 weeks of income to pay for that vehicle. The previous record was 42 weeks. We have never seen a moment, Dad, where average new car prices are higher. The average transaction price for a new vehicle last month was $48,182, and the average monthly payment, $733. Pops, are we at an inflection point where new cars are no longer going to be products that normal consumers can buy? Because it certainly seems that way.
We very well might be. I don't find it to be affordable to have a $733 a month car payment. I don't know how the average American can. So perhaps there's a whole different model out there as to how people are going to access automobiles and trucks. And it might not be buying them per se. It might be shorter term leases or shorter term rentals, or cooperatives that own vehicles that a group of people get to share.
This is Dad. This is like Scott Painter. I don't know if anyone who watches the video, he was the original CEO or founder of TrueCar and Zag before that, and another.
Yes.
This is what he's tried to do every single time. And what I've learned from all the people I talk to in the industry and whatnot is Scott Painter, and Mr. Painter, if you watch this, please don't take offense to this, has great ideas. Just none of them ever make money. I don't understand, Dad. We saw people like Scott Painter. We've seen even the OEMs do subscribe to a car. Mm-hmm. New car prices are getting out of hand. We see changes to how you lease a vehicle. And then, I hear what you're saying. Maybe there's organizations where you're kind of leasing, not buying. Like, why aren't we just producing cheaper cars? Like, how is that not the first question on the board here?
Well, I don't know that I don't know that I have an answer to that, other than because of supply chain issues, the vehicle manufacturers have decided that whatever parts they can get their hands on, they're gonna put into their highest profit margin vehicles. So they're pretty much saying to average or below average earners, hey, there's no new car for you. We're really not interested in producing a new car for you. And prices are going to be so high that you couldn't afford the new cars that we are producing on a monthly basis. So there's no desire on the part of the manufacturer at this point to produce those lower price point vehicles. So there has to be a change in how people, consumers, access vehicles. And I don't know what that change is. I am not that bright to be able to forecast. What was that?
I said I disagree with you. I don't think that the change in behavior needs to happen on the consumer side, because ultimately what I think we're going to find is that if the consumer changes their behavior, instead of us buying cars, we start doing these essentially long-term rentals. The only person who's going to win in that scenario is the chairman of the board at whatever company figures out how to make that most profitable. I actually think that it behooves us to, prices go down when there's competition, right? Mm-hmm. It behooves us to find an automaker who can bring a cost-effective vehicle that's not an EV, that might not even be a hybrid, but just a cost-effective vehicle, new car to the market. That's what I think we should see happen. Instead, what I think, and what you're alluding to, is, okay, Ford no longer lets lessees of their electric vehicles buy them out at the end. Tesla doesn't let you do that. I bet you we see more automakers start to do that in the near future. We're moving in a direction where you own nothing and you're happy. And there's some benefits to that. Don't get me wrong. A car is a depreciating asset, etc. I just get a little nervous when it's just this walled garden. Like, all right, Ford, you just take $50 out of my bank. No, it's not going to be 50. It's going to be 500. It's going to be, I subscribe to Ford. It's $1,000 a month. It's just like Disney Plus, man. That's not a good mentality to have.
Well, I don't know that it's a good mentality to have, but that's the direction the car industry seems to be going. We seem to see more and more subscription services applied to automotive, whether it be heated seats in a BMW, or whether it be the mandatory, you must purchase the optional 3 years worth of OnStar.
You must purchase the
You
optional,
must,
yes.
yes, I love that. Because, if for it to be optional, it has to be, optional. You have to have the option to not buy it. But right now, at Buick, GMC, and for the Cadillac Escalade, that's not an option. It's a required mandated purchase. But my point is that as these manufacturers get more and more customers to feel comfortable subscribing to different things, it's not that far of a push to just get them to subscribe to using the cars. Volvo tried it for a while. I don't know if they still are. I believe they still are. Others have tried a subscription type of basis. And, when you realize that the cost of ownership of a car is approaching approximately $11,000 a year between the car, the depreciation, the maintenance, the insurance, the gas, that if you had to pay somebody $1,000 a month, and that covered all of that plus the car, you didn't own it, but you subscribed to it. You could use it when you need to use it. It's yours to use. Maybe that's the direction they're trying to get everybody comfortable with.
Potentially. A quick plug for caredge.com. Great information about cost to own right there, value rankings, the whole 9 yards. I think, Dad, we're at this inflection point where you're going to see essentially two schools of thought show up. One is bring me back affordable vehicles so I can buy them. The other is, sure, I don't mind subscribing to something. That's fine. And you're even seeing this in real estate as well. There are companies out there where it's essentially it's like a lease, but it comes with extra perks, and not a lease of a car. I mean, like a lease of an apartment, and like you can kind of build equity too, and then maybe buy the place. Like there are some interesting things happening, but I don't know. It's worked for a really long time. I buy this thing, I finance it, I trade it in, I move on. I'm not saying it's a perfect system, but I get a little bit nervous when prices continue to go up. While prices are going up, profits for the OEMs are going up, profits for the dealers are going up. Ultimately, what I sense here is that the consumer gets squeezed, is paying more and getting less value, and it's all kind of it's framed as, but you're getting all these extra perks. Like as a Ford Plus member, because you can totally see a world where you've got Ford Plus, you can also, get extra quick battery charging. Like, is that really the direction we want to go for our mobility? And I think it's unfortunately the inflection point that we're at, that the industry is going to be pushing for. And I think we need to just be, what's the word? Is it wary or weary?
You need to be wary
of what could come.
Yes. Well, I can't predict the future. I haven't been very good at it. But I tend to agree with you. We are at an inflection point because the affordability of purchasing vehicles is just, it's not there for enough people today.
And to your point, we're seeing these things. No more buying out at the end of a lease. Mandatory subscription to software within vehicles. Stellantis came out earlier this year and last year. They want subscription services and software services to be a $30 billion a year business unit for them. I mean, the writing's on the wall, Dad. When Apple comes out with their car, I'm bringing up Apple. It's going to be once other people have figured out all this autonomous stuff. Then, next thing you know, you can just subscribe to your Apple car. I don't know, gang. This is feeling a lot like WALL-E. Remember WALL-E, Dad? You ever watch WALL-E? Great movie. Makes me a little nervous.
Oh, no. I was thinking of Wale the rapper. But, hey, what the hell do I know?
Leave your comments down below. I'm curious what our community thinks about this. Are you for or against the inevitable shift from ownership to some sort of rental lease subscription type of thing? I'll be very curious to hear.